What do you see when you turn on the television today?
To unleash the full power of the federal government in this effort today, I am officially declaring a national emergency.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will be in isolation for 14 days after his wife tested positive for coronavirus. Breaking this morning, we've learned that the Australian Home Minister, Peter Dutton, has tested positive for the virus.
COVID-19 has killed 148 people in France and infected more than 6,600.
We're imposing a travel ban on foreign nationals from high-risk countries.
In Italy tonight, infections are spiking. The country under lockdown for the past week saw its death toll rise by 475 today, the biggest one-day jump.
A world in turmoil. Major cities are shut down. Like a scene out of an apocalyptic movie, we see the streets of major cities deserted, from New York to Barcelona, Madrid, Paris, London, Rome and Milan. Eerie images. Whoever imagined curfew in New York City? Markets are collapsing, whole nations under quarantine or in a state of emergency. Businesses and factories closed. Stadiums are shut down. Churches, mosques, and places of worship are quiet. Restaurants are empty and almost 1 billion children are forced to stay away from school. The coronavirus rules the airwaves.
It's a Monday afternoon, just landed from Dallas to Dubai. And it's so silent, unbelievable, all due to coronavirus. Man, a lot has changed in 1 week.
Experts estimate that about half of the world's population of 7.7 billion people will be infected with this virus, and that 53 million of those will die. Some people say this number is not significant because an average of 56 million people already die yearly all over the world from all manners of sicknesses, accidents, conflicts, etc. More people will die in the world today from malaria and hunger combined than from the coronavirus. So why the panic? Why the global meltdown? It's very simple. The coronavirus is not just any ordinary virus. It's a plague that's mostly lethal to a certain age group, and 85% of the world's political power and wealth is domiciled within people in this age group. Guess what? No earthly army, secret service, police, DSS can stop the virus from getting to them. They are defenseless against the coronavirus. When you get infected by coronavirus, there's no guarantee that you will survive. A COVID-19 infection is like a game of Russian roulette. For those of you who don't know how Russian roulette works, let me explain. You load a bullet into one chamber of a revolver and spin the cylinder. You then point the gun at your head and pull the trigger. You cannot predict the outcome. This is the game some of the richest and most powerful have to play with their lives.
President Trump is defending his decision to ban most Europeans from entering the country for the next 30 days.
I just wanted that to stop as it pertains to the United States, and that's what we've done. We've stopped it.
This is why there is panic. They panic, we panic, because they control the world system. The coronavirus has gone knocking at the doors of some of the most powerful and famous people in the world, and it is only just beginning. The White House, Downing Street, the Canadian Prime Minister, the German Parliament, you name it. The irony of life is that all the rest of the world is constrained to live a daily life of Russian roulette because of the world system the richest and most powerful are forced on us. The world system is ruled by Mammon. It's a system of the greedy, by the greedy, for the greedy. It's a system that recognizes only the strong and crushes the weak. It's a system that manipulates and oppresses the poor. It's a system that doesn't care for children or the aged. It's a system that discriminates on the basis of nationality, color, religion, tribe and tongue. It's a system that builds high walls to shut out neighbors. It's a system that says you must have a visa to move through a land freely given to all. It's a system that reduces the poor to statistics. It's a system that judges you solely on what you bring to the table, and even that is sometimes not enough. It's a system that won't feed you in freedom but will feed you behind prison walls. It's a system that arms headsmen take over farms. It's a system that encourages kidnapping and banditry because the few have armed escorts. It's a system that doesn't invest in quality education because their children can school in foreign lands. It's a system wherein some have constant power and some live in perpetual darkness. It's a system where hospitals accelerate your journey to the grave because the few can visit foreign hospitals. It's a system that allows tens of thousands die and millions displaced in a decade-long lucrative business called the Boko Haram War. It's a system that incarcerates the voice of dissent. It's a system that allows some to stock up their houses for the unknown while the majority live day to day. It's a cruel system that doesn't care about family, friend or neighbor, but only me, myself and I. It's a system that plunders the earth daily but neglects to nourish it. It's a system that abuses the human body in the pursuit of mammon. Mammon is the god of the world system and mammon has fallen.
Experts say the economic impact could be immense in the long run, not to mention the emotional toll it's taking on a nervous nation.
We must treat this like what it is, and that is a crisis.
Money has failed. The coronavirus is decimating the global economy. America, the symbol of world capitalism, has been badly hit. The American government has budgeted more than $1 trillion to stabilize the markets, but this hasn't worked. The Federal Reserve took the rare step of making a Sunday policy statement on the 15th of March and slashed its benchmark interest rate to near zero, and also promised to buy $700 billion in securities and mortgage bonds. They expected this would give confidence to the markets, but the next day the opposite happened. Markets crashed across the globe spectacularly. Governments all over the world are all doing the same thing, using mammon to save mammon, and we can see that the markets are not responding to this. Wake up and smell the coffee, guys. We all need to learn the lessons of the coronavirus so that billions don't suffer needlessly. Governments are trying to save the wealth of the wealthy and deceive you into thinking it's you they are saving.
A German newspaper says that Trump offered large amounts of money to secure CureVac vaccine exclusively for the US.
If they want to help you, then they should put that cash directly into your hands. But no, they won't. Even if they did, it will go back to the wealthy. They call it trickle-down economics. Create wealth for a few at the top, and in some cases, a sizable middle class, and hope that it will trickle down to those at the bottom. What they forget is that those at the top mainly buy from those at the top. Their tastes and lifestyles are different. They stay in hotels only people like them can build. They drive cars only people like them can make. They wear clothes only people like them can design. They eat food only people like them can cook. They now make computers and robots to take your jobs. So how does the money get to you? The world system is a wicked system that does not know love. This is why the coronavirus is more than an infection that affects more than half of the world's population. But it's also a global economic disaster that will bring chaos, hunger, suffering, disease, riots, and possibly war. How the rulers and the ruled respond to the fall of Mammon will determine how long the coronavirus stays with us. A disunited world now has to unite to confront a common foe. So now, to answer the million-dollar question, how can we avert this? The world faces an existential threat from two fronts that are directly linked: the coronavirus and the fall of Mammon. How can we avert the coronavirus? Can you avert something that has already happened and is still happening? This is the first wave of the virus. It is likely that a deadlier strain of the virus will come in the second wave. It's unlikely that a country like America will hold elections this year. Africa hasn't really been touched by this first wave, and this is similar to what happened in 1920 when the influenza hit the world. When the second deadlier wave came a few months later, over 2.4 million people, representing 2% of Africa's population, died within a 6-month period. Almost a tenth of the world's population was wiped out then, and Africa suffered the highest average mortality rate in that pandemic. Please read Revelations 12:11 and discover how you can make it through this. The world can't avert this because the earth needs everyone to be still so that it can get the badly needed rest and nourishment it needs, and then reset to God's original master plan. There has to be a new world order that allows the equitable redistribution of resources. Mammon has to fall before God. So they say to you, observe social distance, and I say to you, separate yourself unto God. They say to you, wash or disinfect your hands regularly, and I say to you, purify and cleanse yourself unto God. The mark of Christ is the key. Second question is, how can we avert the disaster linked to the fall of money? This is simply a question of leadership that we can find in understanding how Joseph managed the Egyptian economy. Read Genesis and stay tuned.